Due to circumstances beyond our control, we are back on this Wednesday, 19th day of October, 2022. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Thanks for starting your day with us. We are, my mic's way up here. Excuse me for just a minute. We didn't put this in a position. Hold tight. Hold on. And there we go. Hold. And I got to put it right about there. That should work. Can you hear me now? It's 45 degrees. It's 45 seconds into the program. The train wreck has begun. If you haven't been outside yet, I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't good. The air quality is about twice as bad as it was yesterday at this time. We're at 131 on this scale. That's unhealthy for sensitive groups, and we got a long way to go. Cashmere's 139, Leavenworth 159. That's just plain unhealthy. And checking in at 228, very unhealthy, is Peshastin. So we're off to a bad start when it comes to air quality. And as you know, it gets worse. As the day progresses, the sun comes up, we warm up, the relative humidity goes down, the fires pick up in intensity, and we do it all over again today. So we're going to have some bad air today, quite probably tomorrow as well. The big change is coming Thursday night into Friday, and then really dramatic changes Friday night into Saturday. Here comes autumn after being delayed. We got some incredible weather statistics to throw your way, but this has been one strange October weather-wise. And as I mentioned yesterday, we'd all be talking about how beautiful the weather was. It wasn't for what you see behind me, the smoke and the haze. Details are on the way. News, yep, got that for you. Sports, results from high school. The Yankees have moved on to the American League Championship Series. They don't have a lot of time to celebrate. Went to Game 5. Of course, they had the rain out. They had 2 rainouts, as a matter of fact. But they beat the Guardians. They'll move on to take on the Astros. And the Phillies have a 1-0 lead over the Padres. Highlights of that. And in the back half of the program, Shawn Arington, my guest from the Lighthouse Christian Ministries. Night in a Box is back. New location, modified format, all that important stuff. Circle Friday, November 18th on your calendar for Night in a Box. Shawn will give you those details. In the back half of the program, 45 degrees, here we go. Let's start our tour around the valley. And we're off to a great beginning. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley. It looks pretty blucky out there. Again, we're a ways from sunrise. It's not going to come up over the East Wenatchee Bench until 7:25 this morning. Sunset tonight, 6:05. 10 hours and 40 minutes of daylight. We almost tied the record yesterday. We got to 71. Our record high was 72. Didn't quite get there. Normally, we're supposed to be at 59, and we have gone now 27 consecutive days with our afternoon high temperature above normal. We're probably going to make that close to 30 before autumn finally arrives over the weekend. Camera number 2. I have no idea what we're going to be able to see between the fact that it's dark and it's smoky and it's hazy. That looks to be maybe Stein camera looking back towards Dryden and Peshastin. Are we pointing that to the west or to the east there, Captain? It looks like it's pointed towards Dryden and towards Peshastin. Yeah, so that's towards the upper valley on Stein Hill. Make out a little bit of Alala Canyon there and a little bit of the highway, but that's where the real bad air is, 228, as I mentioned before, in Peshastin. They put a portable mobile device, the Department of Ecology did, by the football field in Peshastin down there in the park along the river, and that's where it's located at 228. That's very unhealthy. That's simply unfit to breathe. Camera number 3 is a beautiful view of, I don't know, I think we're up to Lake Wenatchee, are we not? Is the lake that we're guessing at this point because we can't see anything. We're pretty sure that's up the Lake Wenatchee area, where again, they've been socked in. This fire started in what was it, August like 9th or 10th? Is when the White River and Irving Peak fires began. They have merged into one fire. They're just calling it now the White River Fire. It's still there and it's still burning, but holy cow. Having wildfires this late in the season, it's October 19th, is something that we have not seen before. Camera 4 is a beautiful view of that. That's up, we're looking at Leavenworth again there, Captain? That's good morning, Leavenworth, the Bavarian village of Leavenworth. Understanding they're having some sort of festival or of some kind coming up this weekend in Leavenworth. They're sucked in there pretty good, too. 159 in the Bavarian village. Again, there's finally relief coming, but you're going to have to be a little patient. A couple more days of this gunk, and then that persistent ridge of high pressure. We've had two of them, one right after the other, with a brief break, is finally going to come down. So big changes are coming to the forecast area. Let's go ahead and show you that slide again. You got a quick preview of it, but yeah, here it comes. The ridge is going to break down. Here comes autumn. The temperatures are going to drop like a rock. There'll be rain across the region. There'll be wind across the region. The temperatures are going to go from 10, 15 degrees above normal to actually below normal. That's how dramatic this change is going to be. But we're still going to have to wait for that to happen. And check out these statistics that they sent our way yesterday afternoon. This goes through October 17th. Of course, we've had one more day since then. We have gotten to at least 70 degrees every day this month. All 18 days, as I mentioned before, 27 days in a row with our afternoon high temperature above normal. That is a record breaker. It says 17. We've now gone to 18 days in a row, and our daily high temperature at Payne-Bohr Memorial Airport over 12 degrees above where it should be. That's crazy. Just nutty stuff. It's just strange weather. That's all I can say. But guess what? Not going to have to deal with this stuff much longer. From the National Weather Service, we'll get right around 71 or 72 again today. Record high for today is 75. We're not going to get there because of the smoke and the haze, and it's bad, and it's going to get worse. So look for a really bad day, smoke and haze-wise, all over north central Washington. Hazy and smoky tonight, 47 for the overnight low. One more day, probably not as bad on Thursday, but still bad enough for most folks with a high of 71. And then really starting Thursday night is when the ridge is going to start breaking down, and that's going to allow for that big swoop, low pressure coming in. It's going to kind of start really Thursday night. By Friday, you're really going to notice it. Look how much cooler the temperatures are going to be. We're going to drop 15 degrees for the afternoon high. On Friday, by the time we get to Friday afternoon, here comes the rain. By the time we get to Friday night, we got rain and wind. We like that. We need both of that to do something about the fires. Very chilly. Into the 30s we go for the overnight low on Friday and Saturday. It's going to be cool, going to be wet, going to be rainy with some sun breaks. The snow level is going to drop down pretty darn low. It's going to drop down to pass level, but by the time it does that, the energy from the storm will pretty much be petered out. They're going to get a little bit of snow maybe Saturday night. Snow level's at 3,100 feet, but whatever they're going to get isn't going to last very long. Snow level will go back up to above pass level by the time we get to Sunday night and Monday. But here comes the changes. A couple more days. In the meantime, the air stinks. It's 8 minutes after the hour. Going to take a break. We'll have your news in 1 minute. You're watching Wake Up on Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Kim Schreier, and I approve this message.
Dangerous. That's how voters describe this out-of-touch politician, Matt Larkin. Because Larkin said he'd cut veterans' health care and supports a national ban on abortion, overturning protections here in Washington and putting women's lives at risk. Larkin even said he, quote, aligns with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and said, quote, this isn't the time for moderation. That's Matt Larkin, the definition of dangerous.
Color Effects has moved their shop to a larger location to expand their services, including adding in a state-of-the-art large format printer. They got it. You need banners? They got them. You need vinyl decals for your cars, trucks, vans, or trailers in just about any size? Yeah, they got it. Color Effects has also been providing fun swag and clothing for local churches and high schools around our valley for decades. Support your local print shop. Call Color Effects in Cashmere today.
9 minutes after the hour, 45 degrees, smoke in the haze. We're 131 on the AQI scale. That's unhealthy for sensitive groups, so we're going to go in the wrong direction all day today. The airs could very well get to very unhealthy in the Wenatchee Valley by the time this day is done. 9 minutes after the hour, a Marysville woman was shot and killed on Saturday afternoon. Police believe it was a road rage incident. This happened on Stevens Pass, pretty much near the summit. The Washington State Patrol says 24-year-old Raylyn Davis was a passenger in one of the two vehicles involved. She was killed by gunfire. Davis was riding west in a 2014 Kia Sorento At about 7:48 on Saturday evening, she was returning from Leavenworth. Troopers say somebody opened fire on the Kia from a second vehicle near a milepost 63. That's just west of the summit of the pass. The shooter's vehicle then fled in an unknown direction. Davis was pronounced dead at the scene. State Patrol detectives are requesting help in locating the suspect vehicle. It's a dark-colored Subaru SUV with a roof-mounted cargo basket. Anybody seeing a vehicle that matches that description is asked to call or email the investigating sergeant. The contact information that you see there is on your screen. A dispute between roommates Saturday in Warden ended with one man being shot and the other arrested for first-degree assault. The Grand County Sheriff's Office said the shooting happened at about 6 o'clock Saturday night at a residence in the 7000 block of Road P Southeast. 22-year-old Jordan Romero Ortega, he told deputies that his roommate, 44-year-old Cristoforo Garcia Cortez, pulled a gun during an argument, shot him twice. The Sheriff's Office said Garcia Cortez fled the scene, but he was tracked down by a Moses Lake Police Department K-9 unit and arrested. Romero Ortega was transported to Samaritan Hospital in Moses Lake and then to Sacred Heart Medical Center in Spokane for gunshot wounds to his arm and his leg. He is listed in stable condition. An injured climber had to be rescued Sunday off the west ridge of Mount Stewart. Sergeant Jason Reinfeld of Shawn County Emergency Management said at about 9 a.m. on Sunday, the 28-year-old Seattle man fell about 10 to 12 feet, suffering a possible broken arm, and was unable to climb back down. An Army helicopter from Yakima flew 2 Chelan County Mountain Rescue volunteers into the scene. That was about 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. The rescuers then lowered the man about 600 feet to an area where he could be transported out. At about 4:30, he arrived at the Leavenworth Fish Hatchery. He was taken by ambulance to Cascade Medical Center in Leavenworth. All this week here at the NCW Live channel, we are airing interviews with the 2 candidates for Chelan County Sheriff, the incumbent, Brian Burnett, and his challenger, Mike Morrison. You can watch those full interviews here on this channel at 8 o'clock tonight, 9 o'clock tomorrow, and at 8 a.m. on Saturday. Both campaigners told our very own Jefferson Robbins that they've got steady support from the deputies who form the front line of the Sheriff's Department.
In 2010, when you ran the first time, you were vice president of the Chelan County Deputy Sheriff's Association. Now you're in a position to be challenged by the person who's president of that deputies association. You succeeded, I think, in large part with the support of many deputies. Where do you think most of your line deputies are now in terms of whom they support for sheriff?
Well, I guess if I had to go down and check off a list from the knowledge that I have, I would say it's probably 2 to 1. I think that I have a 60 to 70% following and approval rating. We have 10 sergeants. I have 8 of them on my website as full endorsements. I'm expecting, well, obviously I know that the numbers exist, so the supervisors group in itself will give me their endorsement. I think I have tremendous support, but we know the 80-20 rule, right? Everybody's heard of the 80-20 rule, is you have a significant low number of people that have been held accountable, and in those numbers, when somebody's held accountable and we're saying, hey, you violated, you did some things wrong, we'd like you to grow here, you have an option. You have an option to take that feedback and grow from it and be positive with it, or you can let it fester and become negative, and you become, unfortunately, what we call a disgruntled employee.
Where do the deputies in Chelan County Sheriff's Office stand on this election?
I feel pretty comfortable with my internal support. I know my opponent has tried to come out and say most of my endorsements are former deputies, but there are several deputies and sheriffs and chiefs that they may never have met, and those within the agency clearly would like to come out publicly and support me, but they also recognize that that opens them up to intimidation, bullying, retaliation, and I don't blame them for not wanting to put their names out there publicly. I support that and understand that the reason I'm running is because I have people within the agency and people who used to be at our agency who said the way we've been doing things needs to change, and that has given me the strength and the courage to go out and take on this challenge, and I'll continue to fight and make sure that all people within our agency and our community are treated with fairness and respect.
Republican Matt Larkin has raised about $2 million in his effort to unseat Democratic Representative Kim Schreier in the 8th Congressional District race, but Schreier has raised about 4 times as much money. The latest reports by the Federal Elections Commission shows Schreier has raised $8.16 million with $2.3 million cash on hand. Larkin reported raising $1.94 million with $456,000 in cash on hand. The 8th Congressional District, as you know by now, is targeted as a key race by both parties as Republicans seek to regain control of the House of Representatives. In addition to the money raised by the candidates, a lot of outside PAC money has flowed into the race on both sides for, well, numerous television and radio ads. You can't seem to get away from those. Larkin advanced through the primary despite being outspent by fellow Republicans Reagan Dunn and Jesse Jensen. The COVID-19 pandemic funds that helped double the budget for the Chelan-Douglas Health District in 2021, well, now the state and federal emergency dollars are running out, and that means the Public Health Agency's $8.3 million budget going to drop. Administrator Luke Davies told the Chelan-Douglas Board of Health on Monday night to expect a decline of roughly $2 million next year.
So our budget will go from, for pre-COVID, it was about 5 to 6 million, went up to 10 million, went to 8.3 million. And then this year's budget, we're looking at somewhere in the ballpark for 2023 of about 6.5 million total. And so we'll be popping back down. But if we get increased funding from the state or others, that number will increase again.
The foundation was laid on Monday for the new City of East Wenatchee's Public Works facility. It's a $5.4 million project. It's a one-story building. It's going to be right next to City Hall off of 9th Street. 8,700 square feet with 974 feet of overhead storage on top of that. The new building will include the maintenance shop, the parking bay, administrative offices for Public Works. By the way, the time of completing the building is, they say, it's going to take about a year or so. In March, the city awarded the construction contract to Halmy Builders out of Davenport. And that is what's making news. 17 minutes after the hour, the news will come your way again, as it always does. At 5, 6, and 10, don't forget you can watch the news via our Facebook page and via our homepage, too, if that's the way you choose to consume it. And with a preview, the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, hazy and warm in your Wednesday weather forecast with big changes moving our way by Friday. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, we will have results of last night's high school sports action and a look at yesterday's baseball playoffs. That and all the day's news stories coming your way tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. And don't forget, if you have a news tip, let us know. We love to hear from you. I mean, we can't be everywhere at once. For one thing, it'd be quite painful. Get a hold of us. You can email us, news@ncwlife.com. You can go to our Facebook page and use the Messenger app, or go to our homepage, ncwlife.com, and click on the Contact Us icon. When we come back, baseball playoffs, high school sports, the obscure holiday, today in history, some celebrity birthdays. An opinion from Mike Mad Dog McNaughty and Shawn Arington from the Lighthouse Christian Ministries will be joining me too. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a 4-letter word.
I think we should hire more people.
Doc, I'm late for a meeting.
I'm thinking of starting my own practice.
Do it. Too much capital.
We need a warehouse.
I can't imagine how we do that.
We should knock that wall down and expand.
Do it. There's always another wall beyond the wall.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
I believe we've been coming to Abby's for 56 years, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
56 years.
Remembering all the events as a family and a community that we spent at Abby's.
Excellent and delicious food at an affordable price. We're delighted that we live close enough to be able to be a frequent customer.
And we are.
And we are. In fact, we've got orders to bring home a giant pizza when we leave here tonight.
Just about 20 minutes after the hour, the Yankees have punched their ticket to the American League Championship Series. No real issues with the Guardians. That's Giancarlo Stanton unloading his first inning 3-run home run for the Yanks. That gave them a lead that they would never relinquish. Game 5. of the American League Division Series at the stadium. Followed up by Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, of course, who had 62 home runs this year. There's another one. A solo shot in the second inning. That was his second of the series, and the Yankees pulled away from there. They don't have a lot of time to celebrate, though. Nope. They had their champagne, then they hopped on a plane. They're in Houston as we speak. They turn right around and play Game 1 of the American League Championship Series against the Astros. 4:37 first pitch on TBS. To beautiful San Diego we go with Game 1 of the National League Championship Series. That is Mr. Bryce Harper hitting a home run, a solo home run, in the fourth inning. In fact, that was all the scoring, was 2 home runs. Bryce Harper's in the fourth, and then Kyle Schwarber hit a ball that I think was last seen somewhere over New Mexico. He crushed it. I mean, just crushed it. That was in the sixth inning. That gave the Phillies a 2-0 victory. That was all the scoring in the game. Zach Wheeler was dominant over 7 innings. He allowed just 1 hit, struck out 8. He gets the victory. How about this? The Phillies and the Padres. Nobody expected these folks in the National League Championship Series, but here they are. Game 2 of the NLCS is today at 1:35. You can watch it on Fox and FS1. Okay, that's cool. Seattle Kraken back at the ice tonight at the Climate Pledge Arena. They're hosting the Blues from St. Louis, 7 o'clock. By the way, it will be nationally televised on TNT. The Kraken looking for their second win of the season. This is just the second game for the Blues. They're 1-0-0 on the young season. Speaking of hockey, the Wenatchee Wild staked a 1-0 lead early in their BCHL showcase game against Chilliwack, but the Chiefs would come back for the 5-2 win. Ian Somoza, he was the man who got the deciding goal in that shootout on Monday night against Langley. He gave Wenatchee the early lead, and they would trade goals, and then in the third period, they no longer traded goals.
Here's Gasparini, center point. Now for Somoza, his wrist shot scores! Beats the glove hand of Siskis. Blocked there, bouncing puck to the line, out to center. Here's a chance, Jones shorthanded. Jones moving in on a breakaway. Forehand, back to the forehand, he scores. Second shorthanded goal of the season for the Chiefs, and it's off the stick of Brian Jones, and he's tied this game. Here's Somoza, gets to mid-ice, now the shot off the end wall, they score. Oh, Siskis didn't see the rebound go off the glass, and it went right on the doorstep, and making no mistake was Luke Wayland. Damon Bickler was knocked down. It comes back up top, high in the slot. Steals shot. It bops in the crease. They score! I'm not sure what that hit, if it was a stick or the post, Tyler, but it went in behind Laha as he was moving back towards his goal. Drifts down low, now to the point. Weed, Leyland again. Rink wide. LaCroix scores! Oh, the one-time bomb from A.J. LaCroix. It's a power play goal at 8:46 to go, and the Chiefs have their first lead of the game. It's 3-2. Davidson now, that long reach. Now he pushes his man down. Davidson leaves it for Kinch in front. Jones rebound, scores! Dylan Kinch on the rebound. Mario Gasparini to the right side. There's a snapshot, scores! David Hayduke beats the goaltender Lucas Siska, and the Wild aren't done yet with 65 seconds to go. It's a 1-goal game. Littler gave it away now to Mateo Mercic. This might do it. It's a 2-on-1. A.J. Lacroix's got a yawning cage. Shoots, he scores. With 3.2 seconds to go, there's the 5th goal for Chilliwack. And the Chiefs are going to pick up their first win under the lights here at the Coliseum this season.
The Wild finally get a play at home. Finally. Friday at 7:05. It's not going to be easy. They got West Kelowna coming into town, and then Penticton comes to town Saturday at 6 at the Town Toyota Center. For tickets, go to WenatcheeWildHockey.com. All right, to the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard. From last night to the pitch we go. Wenatchee came away with a 3-0 win over Davis in Big 9 play. West Valley assured itself of at least a share of the league title. They had a 1-0 win over Moses Lake, and Ephrata topped Prosser 2-1. Look at some of these scores from the smaller schools. These aren't misprints. Kashmir blanked Omak 6-0. Cascade got by Quincy 6-0. Chelan topped Manson 7-0. Tanasket beat Orville 17-0. This is soccer, people. It was Okanagan over Lake Roosevelt 13-0. Brewster beat Liberty Bell 4-0. And Pateros edged Bridgeport 1-0. Wenatchee defended its home court in prep volleyball last night. They beat Davis 25-20, 25-16, 25-22. West Valley swept 3 from Moses Lake, 25-12, 25-13, 25-11. And Freda took 3 games straight from Othello. The smaller schools, Kashmir celebrated senior night, 25-20, 25-20, 25-16 over Omak. Cascade defeated Quincy 3-1. The rest of the matches, shutouts. Orville over Bridgeport. Waterville, Mansfield topped Soap Lake. Pateros beat Antioch. Manson rolled Lake Roosevelt. Okanagan over Liberty Bell. And Brewster beat Tenasket. 1 volleyball match on tap for tonight. And of course, as you know, whenever Liberty Bell and Bridgeport play volleyball, you can throw the records right out the window. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 25 minutes after the hour. 8 obscure holidays across my desk. I had 8 to choose from. I could have chosen National Seafood Bisque Day, which I love. It's National LGBT Center Awareness Day. It's Bra Day, USA. Sounds like a jingle of some kind. It's Medical Assistance Recognition Day. It's International Gin and Tonic Day, but not me, I'm working. It's Global Dignity Day. It's Evaluate Your Life Day. Evaluate Your Life Day. But no, we're going to celebrate the hagfish, the most disgusting, vile piece of gunk that lives on this planet. It's utterly disgusting. It oozes slime to keep itself away from predators. It's as ugly as it all can be, and it hasn't evolved in 300 million years. The hagfish evolved and then just stopped. A couple of interesting things about the hagfish, besides being incredibly ugly. Nobody eats them, except in Korea, it is a delicacy. They actually fish for hagfish up in Alaska, and then they ship it to Korea and sell it for ridiculously large amounts of money. I ain't eating that. A hagfish has 4 hearts, one that pumps the blood through the body, and the other 3 hearts that help pump the blood through the body. Hagfish are the only animals that have a skull but don't have a spine. Their spine is actually kind of like cartilage. So they have a skull, but they don't have a spine. The only animal in the world that has that. And they're ugly and disgusting, but just because of that, we're going to celebrate National Hagfish Day. What's for lunch today? Yeah, I'll have a bowl of hagfish. Ugh. All of God's creatures, 27 minutes after the hour. Today in history, it was the northernmost action of the Civil War. There's the headlines for the New York Times the next day. The war in Vermont. Yeah, 21 Confederate soldiers in Canada crossed the Canadian-Vermont border, robbed 3 banks in St. Albans, Vermont, because they needed the money. This was 1864. The Confederacy was running out of dough. So they robbed 3 banks, stole a little over $200,000, and then they high-footed it right back to Canada. By the way, the Canadian authorities found the raiders, arrested them, recovered $80,000 of the loot. Canada was not happy. Canada said, we don't want anything to do with your Civil War, America. There were some Canadians who were supporting the Confederacy, but that ended because of this. They said, no, we're not. We're out. You guys figure this out yourself, but leave us out of your Civil War. That took some chutzpah. Of course, it didn't work either. That was 158 years ago today. 78 years ago today, American forces land in the Philippines. Chester Nimitz said we shouldn't do this. Doug MacArthur said we should. And in the end, FDR agreed with General MacArthur. Notice how the headline says, MacArthur invades Central Philippines. That's how big MacArthur was in those days. But Doug MacArthur convinced FDR, he said, we have a moral obligation to free the Philippines. They've been under Japanese occupation for over 3 years. There are 40,000 POWs being held in the Philippines. Yes, it would be easier to skip around the Philippines and go back later, but no, we got to go. And so they did. And they arrived 78 years ago today. It's hard to believe, but the Cuban trade embargo is still in effect. The Eisenhower administration on October 19th, 1960, because, well, after the Cuban Revolution and Castro took over, Americans had a lot of oil refineries in Houston that belonged to Shell and Conoco and BP, and that belongs to us. And the Cuban government just took them over. Didn't write them a check. They said, we're taking your oil refineries. And the United States said, well, you can't do that. And so they placed an embargo, a near total trade embargo against Cuba. Every year for the last 30 years, The United Nations has a proposal to end the embargo, and every country votes to end the embargo except the United States and Israel. The embargo is still in effect, still officially going on. So the only exception, food and medicine. It hadn't worked. It doesn't work. Anyway. And finally, if you were heavily invested in the stock market on this day in 1987, you had a really bad day. Black Monday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, keep in mind, the Dow Jones isn't the entire stock market. It's just a select group of stocks that make up the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Lost 22% of its value. It fell 508 points. By comparison, back in October of 1929, the beginning of the Great Depression, the Dow only lost 12% of its value. When it crashed in 1929, it lost 22% of its value when it crashed on this date in 1987. My 401k took a big hit that day, I can tell you that much. Bottom of the hour, birthdays. Patrick Simmons, the only member of the Doobie Brothers to have never left the band. In fact, when the Doobie Brothers broke up for a short time in the early 1980s, the only reason the Doobie Brothers broke up is because Patrick Simmons was the only guy left in the band, and he wanted to do a solo career. Patrick Simmons of the Doobie Brothers is 74 years old today. He wrote and sang the #1 hit, Black Water. I got to introduce the Doobie Brothers a long time ago up at the casino at Mill Bay. They played the casino. I still got my backstage all-access pass, by the way, and I got to meet Patrick Simmons. Nice guy. He was born in Aberdeen, too. Moved out, like most people do who were born in Aberdeen. And Evander Holyfield is 60 years old today. He is the only boxer in history to be the undisputed champion in 2 weight classes. Evander Holyfield made $500 million as a professional boxer. You heard me right. $500 million is what he earned. But unfortunately, he has 11 children with 6 different women, and now he's close to bankrupt. Bad investments, frivolous spending. This happens to boxers more than it should. He is 60 years old today. We are going to take a break because, quite frankly, I think Tucker needs one. Then we're going to hear from Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, who's going to spew something about something. We'll find out together. And then Shawn Arington will join me for the Lighthouse Christian Ministries. Night in a Box is back. Hasn't been around for the last couple of years because of COVID, but it's back. New location, new format. Shawn will give you those details when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hi folks, welcome to Save Mart. How can we help you today?
We're looking for a recliner.
Okay, right this way. Go ahead and move this chase on the other side. You can lift this up.
Great, I want that one. I like that one.
That's a great choice.
And I want this one as well.
Okay.
And I definitely want this one.
Ooh. You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Since 1932, Camp Seneca, nestled on the beautiful shores of Lake Wenatchee, has provided children grades 1 through 12 with the ideal location for kids to learn new skills, have fun, and make friends while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Camp Seneca's rustic log cabins and their staff serve to provide each group a unique summer camp experience. Register for Camp Seneca today, www.campfirencw.org. As the sun sets on another hot summer, let the experts at Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa winterize and close your pool. Closing your swimming pool is the most important service to get right. Letting the professionals from Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa close your pool will ensure that you won't cost yourself thousands of dollars in damage next year. Want to save a little money? Consider dropping the water level yourself and save. Don't wait. Blue Lagoon's pool closing schedule is filling up quickly. Call today.
I'm here at Boswell's Home Furnishings to announce one of their newest lines of furniture, Builtwell, an amazing local furniture maker in Oregon.
Hi, can I help you?
I was just telling my friends.
About Builtwell? They have exquisite craftsmanship, superior construction. I love their designs. Builtwell is a great addition to the wide selection of quality furniture you'll find here at Boswell's.
Boswell's Furniture on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
Badger Mountain Brewery is your cure for boredom. Jam Night Mondays. Trivia Wednesdays. Live Music Fridays. And Sunday Brunch. There's always something brewing at Badger Mountain. So come join the party.
Hey folks, Lehman here with Crown Furniture and Mattress. Folks, there's no question if you're looking for top quality furniture and mattresses, Crown Furniture and Mattress is the place for you. Whether it's FlexSteel's patented blue steel spring, Englander's 120 years of innovation, or Stan's incredible comfort. Folks, we have it all. So stop by and see us today at 736 South Wenatchee Avenue.
With all the variety on SureStream TV from LocalTel, there's always something to watch. But what if you hit the couch in the middle of all the shows? That's a perfect time to use the features Catch Up or Restart. Catch up on shows from up to 3 days ago, or restart your show from the beginning. Go to your guide and select the show to restart. Then play, pause, rewind on your schedule. Don't forget, SureStream TV from LocalTel lets you decide when shows begin.
Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, Western Christianity is focused on personal sin, considering the things that I have done wrong, saying that you're sorry to Jesus, and asking to be forgiven. Well, what about the sin of social injustice? Many of the lessons in the Bible aren't focusing on whether or not you stole a candy bar, told a lie, or said a bad word, but instead, a lot of messages, particularly in the Old Testament minor prophets and the major prophets too, they address things of social injustice. The Old Testament prophets were big on chastising God's people for focusing on themselves and ignoring the poor, the hungry, and society's outcasts. Maybe the church in America should start being more concerned about racial prejudice, economic inequality, and things like whether or not we are a society that cares for the dispossessed, instead of wondering if Jesus is someone's personal Lord and Savior. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
When the people you serve are your friends and family, you see the world a bit differently. You understand that your survival depends on the health and strength of your relationships. Your word is your reputation, and that doing the right thing is the only way of life that matters. At Confluence Health, we remain humble. Trust is a gift that is earned, a privilege, an honor. And we remain grateful for the trust you place in our hands.
Coming home should never be a chore. Let Merry Maids of Wenatchee customize all your cleaning needs. Weekly, bi-weekly, special occasion. Do you have a vacation home that needs cleaning? We clean them too. Locally owned and operated, let Merry Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Merry Maids has special offers to fit your budget. Request your free cleaning estimate today. 509-663-1710.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. In the investment world, ROI stands for Return on Investment. Well, how does better health, better wealth, and better relationships sound for ROI? Join us every week right here on NCW Life and learn how to invest in the most important asset, you.
We're going to answer your questions and provide some weekly inspiration so you can create a life that you love. Join us on Live It Up.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether.
We provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
Beaver Valley Lodge in Leavenworth is located on 50 acres set in a quiet country atmosphere with historic farm feel and charm. It's sure to make your stay one to remember. Beaver Valley Lodge offers a variety of overnight accommodations for groups large and small that range from rooms for 2 to 4 people to entire vacation homes with all the space you'll need for a reunion, a retreat, or a wedding. Book your stay at Beaver Valley Lodge, where you'll come as a guest and leave as a friend. When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you're calling on 35 plus years of experience in the Wenatchee Valley. Spending extra time in your home, you may have discovered an unwanted aroma. Stinky feet, pets, who knows what. Call Dick's today about installing their Train Clean Effects electronic air cleaner or a Rheem Halo ultraviolet air purifier. Either way, the air quality in your home will be improved. Proudly servicing all of North Central Washington, call 884-6444 today.
I'm Brian Thorpe, and I'm proud to say that Global Car Care is growing. We always do the right thing, and because of that, we're busy, and it's time to hire an experienced automotive technician. We spend as much time with our coworkers as we do our own family. I want them to understand they're not a number here. They're a person with a family, and I want them to be part of this family too. Do you want an owner that understands and respects what you do every day? I'm that guy. Our compensation is the best in the area. I want you to have your career with us.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am the handsome and debonair Dan Kuntz. He's the even more handsome and more debonair Shawn Arington from the Lighthouse Christian Ministries. LCM is the acronym we like to use. First of all, hello, stranger. It's been a while.
It has. Hello.
How you been?
I've been good. You know, life is good in the midst of a bunch of strange things, but life is good.
And there is some semblance of normalcy, which is the main reason that Shawn is here. Night in a Box has returned. Kind of a very interesting ad hoc story that began with Bart and his crew 20 years ago, maybe now? 15?
I would like to say that, but I think it's been 11 years now.
Give people the little rundown on how it kind of just morphed. Night in a Box, it kind of just happened. For those folks who don't know, let's the uninitiated give them a brief history of Night in a Box.
Yeah, I remember when I was young, had a youth group, we were raising funds for an organization in the middle of summer, slept in a box overnight, raised funds for overnight, and we needed to buy beds for the emergency shelter. We couldn't open it up without beds, and so that memory came back to me. I was like, well, I'll just sleep in a box and raise funds. That was my only experience with fundraising. And so I decided I would just be in a box on Wenatchee Avenue until that $10,000 was donated. It took me about 48 hours before I was removed by the police, of course, which
they were nice about it.
Was absolutely correct. But the funds came in, people saw it, it got some publicity. It was the best fundraiser to do the most good that we'd been able to do. And then the next year, it began to become a thing. So every year, more people wanted to do it. Every year, the funds went to get people off of the streets, put them in shelters, get them in housing units, and the police eventually even joined us.
Can you believe that Lighthouse Christian Ministries has done what it has done? It's just your baby, but it has gone. A lot of these things just kind of, it's a great idea, it kind of peters out, and that's the end of that. But that hasn't been the case with your organization at all.
No, I think it's a lot of crazy ideas that we resisted initially because we never opened up wanting to be more than a soup kitchen, just a place to share the good news and to reach people, change their lives. And each thing that came, we said no. And then after many sleepless nights and admitting that, okay, maybe we're called to this, we eventually stepped into each one. It's really strange. We look back on the different endeavors, not one has failed. Some have grown up, become their own children, and released into their own nonprofits, but not one of them has failed yet. The need's still there, and we're just hoping to do some more good.
Does the fact that you were there, you had been there and done that in your youth, does that add a little more gravitas to Lighthouse Christian Ministries? Because you've been there, you've been down that road.
Yeah, absolutely. That word is so big, I don't know what it means, but I'm going to go with it anyways. When I actually came to Wenatchee, I was homeless. And so the founder, Bob Rogers, was beginning construction. And, having a place where I felt loved, a place where I felt welcomed, and he would buy me lunch every day until the soup kitchen opened up a month later. But that is a constant reminder for me to continue to do that for other people. Give them exactly what was given to me and make sure that their lives change in the same way. So it definitely also helps me to not go back, seeing the lifestyle that I used to have, but then seeing people choose to have a different lifestyle, which we see on a regular basis. That is so encouraging.
Night in a Box is back. Couple of changes. Different. First of all, it's back. We like that. New location, some new sponsors. Walk us through the night of Friday, November 18th.
Yeah, we're really excited. It's going to be at the Save Mart parking lot. And the Save Mart parking lot is not just the only partnership they've given us. They're also providing all of the boxes. And so I know that as people sign up at WenatcheeLighthouse.org, they register, they want to become part of the event, they're going to need boxes to sleep in. So everybody will arrive on scene. We're hoping to have a lot of publicity there as far as also a lane for people to pull in. They'll pull in, they'll drop off their box representing their organization, their church or their family designed, and there'll be a Best Box Award. Your brother gave that away one year. And they can drop it off, then they get to go park, and they come back. The National Guard will be there helping us to be placed in the right ways. They have experience doing that. So 6 o'clock on the November 18th, the box drop happens. On the 7 p.m., the chili feed happens with the Women's Service League. At 8 p.m., we begin to hear testimonies and stories of people who have successfully gotten off the street, and they're helping to lead organizations here in the Valley. We'll have some campfires going on. We'll have some music going on, a little bit of acoustic guitar and sing-alongs. But at 10 p.m., one of the most important things is we're going to have quiet time. I mean, if people are doing this event, the last thing they want is to stay up all night long. And then at 6 a.m., Brian Adelman from Adelman Chiropractic is bringing in sausage and gravy to wake everybody up in a good way as we skedaddle and go our way.
Money, awareness, money, both on this?
Absolutely. It's like you want to do this fundraiser. You register online. You set your goal. You say, I want to raise $500 for Lighthouse Christian Ministries. You put a little jar in the office here and you say, hey, if this office does not help me raise $500, I'm going to be out there in a box. I actually haven't heard of anybody saying they're not going to do it anyways. But if your coworkers, Dan, don't like you, they definitely aren't going to put anything in the jar, and we will definitely see you. And then people just bring it all together. We throw it in the trunk of one of the police cars, keep everything safe, and then all of that goes to support the housing units for Lighthouse Christian Ministries, and it's our only fundraiser for those for the whole year, as well as it goes to the free food markets that are helping to feed people to keep them out of homelessness.
Speaking of that, I would be remiss if I didn't ask, the Lighthouse Christian Ministries doesn't take government money. You guys are completely dependent on individual contributions and business contributions, what have you like that. How is the checking account? Because my guess is with COVID and everything, it's a little depleted. I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This has been one of the toughest years, and that's, I believe, due to a lot of things. We've seen business owners that used to support us lose their businesses and nearly lose their homes. I believe everybody's feeling that financial crunch that looks to be around the corner. And so God's been sustaining us, but we also are letting the community know that as this has been the toughest year, we're hoping to finish strong with November and December so that we don't operate at a deficit this year. We've never been in debt. We've never operated at a deficit, but we always rely upon year-end giving to get us through and into the next year strong.
The mayor of Wenatchee, spoiler alert, my brother, has high hopes for this Recovery Navigator program, the RMP. To give folks an idea what that is.
Yeah, we love the Recovery Navigator program. I'm one of the trained coaches. We work together with them on a regular basis. And so right now, it's completely different than it's ever been. It used to be a 2 to 3 week process of just getting somebody signed up for an assessment so that they could know whether they qualified for an inpatient treatment. Right now, you can call the Recovery Navigators, and they will be there within 20 minutes. They will sign somebody up for services. They will bring them to a detox. Right now, the detox facility in Wenatchee is hopefully opening soon, but in the meantime, they've been committed. They drive people to Spokane. They drive them to Yakima, Tri-Cities, the West Side. They put them into detox beds to get them initially sober and clear-minded. Then they pick them back up, and they will deliver them to housing units, or they will deliver them to inpatients. And so we've been seeing that even in the last 30 days, we've seen 7 people either go to inpatient treatment or go to detox beds and then get into housing. So that's 7 people that are off of the streets, sober, and at least in some kind of transitional clean and sober housing.
Do you sometimes feel like, Shawn, that you're trying to spoon out the ocean with a spoon? I mean, does it sometimes get? Are we ever gonna? Can we break this vicious cycle? Do you get frustrated sometimes? I mean, it's. I can't imagine you not getting frustrated.
Yeah. There's days where I get frustrated, but Lighthouse Christian Ministries operates on about 150 volunteers per month. And most of those are people who have already had their lives changed. So if I'm frustrated, there's somebody on my left and my right that reminds me that, hey, it's working. And so seeing those results, we've seen almost 500 people permanently housed in the last 12 years that Lighthouse Christian Ministries has been open. And less than 30 of those have returned back to homelessness. And out of those 30, some of them have cycled back into the stats of being housed. And so that is a well above 90% rate of seeing people permanently housed, clean and sober. And we pursue them still. We still meet up with them, check with them. So that's 500 people that, if Lighthouse wasn't here in the last 10 years, would also be on the streets today.
So you have quantifiable proof that it's working.
Trackable evidence. And so it's my discouragement gets far outweighed by the manifestation of good.
Let's get people involved in Night in the Box. Again, it is Friday night, November 18th at the Save Mark parking lot. Thank you to the DeCamps for doing that. They didn't have to. How do people get involved with Night in the Box? How do they go about doing it?
Well, they go to WenatcheeLighthouse.org. They'll see a link right there, and they can either make a donation, or if you go there, you could also see that it says register. And if you register this year, there's going to be a small fee just to make sure that we're raising funds. But also down there, there's a goal. You can set your goal. I encourage you to set it high, because when you have a high goal, people want to help it. And I know the lights are on here, but you can also purchase one of the glow-in-the-dark t-shirts. So if the lights went all off, this is enough to light everything in this room, Dan. We would see in the dark.
Wow.
Amazing.
Amazing. Friday, November 18th is back again. It was Night in the Box is not something you can do virtually. I mean, you had people who went out and slept in the yards and stuff to kind of keep the program going. But it's not the same as having all of these people gathered in the same location to help out the Lighthouse Christian Ministries. It's much more important to do Night in the Box in reality than in the virtual world, because it's not the same.
Yeah, and really it's a networking event. It's where you get to hear the stories. It's not a recreation of homelessness. We're here to end that, not recreate it. But the amazing organizations, churches, families, and friends that come together, the stories that you hear will change your life that night.
You say you can't make a difference. That's a bunch of crap. We know you can. Shawn is a perfect example of that. Shawn Arington from Lighthouse Christian Ministries. Any help you need from the NCAA Life Channel, you know where to find us, my friend. And we'll keep in touch, and we'll have you on a couple more times before the 18th.
Sounds great. I'll bring you your box soon.
Shawn Arington from Lighthouse Christian Ministries. And by the way, if each of the coworkers who don't like me donated $1, you never have to do this again.
There we go.
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
You've got a lot to do today. While you're out and about, remember to dispose of your unused medications safely and anonymously. It's a simple act that makes your home a safer place. Next time you're at the pharmacy, just place them in the drop box. To find a location, visit medproject.org.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, independent agent and owner at Springwater Insurance Group here in North Central Washington. And it's that time of year again. October 15th to December 7th, that is the time if you have a Medicare plan, do I want to keep it or do I want to change it? For any of those questions, give us a call at Springwater Insurance Group because we're independent agents. We don't work with one company, we work with many companies because all of you have different situations and needs. So if you have questions about 2021 Medicare plans, give us a call, 888-2600.
Green Motion e-bikes have rolled out the new line of custom e-bikes. They have three-way adjustable folding e-bikes and full-size mountain e-bikes. Pedal assist and a throttle makes them a perfect fit for any rider. Green Motion e-bikes, located in the Mills Brothers building.
Hello, television family. Grab your cup of coffee each weekday morning and join me. I'm Dan Kuntz, the host of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's everything you need to start your day. We're live and we're local at 7 a.m. every weekday on the NCW Life channel.
Funny thing about time, when you're young, summers seem to last forever. And then, before you know it, you're attending more retirement parties than you are baby showers. This is when you'll appreciate our own homegrown, nonprofit, Heritage Heights, working to provide every senior housing option our families might need, right here in the beautiful Lake Chelan Valley. Find out more at heritageheights.org.
Oh, hi. Live television, folks. It is what it is. We don't tape anything around here except the interviews, and we occasionally don't even do that. And in the 3 minutes we have remaining on this program, which, by the way, I will apologize now for the quality of it. Air quality. I mean, you look behind me and you can see it stinks. We are twice as bad at this time now than we were yesterday. At this time, we were in the upper 60s for the air quality. We were moderate 24 hours ago at this time. We are not at this time. Do we have that slide for us, Captain? There you go. That's our air quality. I just took this about 10 minutes ago. 149 in Wenatchee. That is unhealthy for sensitive groups. If we go up 2 more notches to 151, it'll be just plain unhealthy. Cashmere's at 145, creeping up on unhealthy. Leavenworth is already there. They're at 161. That is unhealthy, as you can see. And leading the pack, again, our friends in Peshastin, where the air quality at 254 is very unhealthy. And that is certainly within the realm of possibility for everybody in our viewing area. We could go purple by this afternoon, and that is not good. It's going to be a bad day for air quality, but there is some relief in sight. There are some changes coming, significant changes coming. You're going to start feeling it maybe Thursday night into Friday, certainly Friday. The stubborn ridge of high pressure that just won't go anywhere, that's given us this unbelievably mild and dry weather. It's finally going away, and here comes a little bit of everything. Temperatures are going to drop lower than a gopher's basement. We're going to have some rain, much needed rain. Wind will be picking up. It's going to be just like we're going to switch just like that to autumn as we get towards the weekend. But before we get to that, once more, the statistics for October are unprecedented for this area. We have gotten at least 70 degrees, at least to 70 every day this month. We're 18 full days into it. We've had 18 days with at least 70 degrees every day this month. We've had 27 days in a row of our afternoon high temperature above normal. That is unprecedented for October, and we're going to be in the 70s again today and tomorrow from the National Weather Service. Smoky, hazy, bad air, unhealthy air, not good. We'll get up to about 72. Not quite the record high, but pretty incredibly warm. Our normal high is 59 for this time of the year. 47 for the overnight low. We do it one more time on Thursday. Thursday night, here comes that low, and look what happens on Friday. By Friday afternoon, rain, wind, and a lot cooler. And that is it for us. Have a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.